Welcome everyone, back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we can have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as it is continuing to look likely to be unsettled and fairly cool as well. Not looking like we're going to see any huge walls of rain at this stage, or in the next few days at least, but plenty of showers, especially further northwards, with the best conditions further southwards. But those temperatures, as I said, still will be fairly cool, struggling around the high teens, low 20s at best, generally below average in most regions. However, just as we're now seeing this cooler pattern become established in the longer range, we're starting to see perhaps a change back to something more hot and humid once again as we do head into the middle third of July. Perhaps in as soon as sort of 6 or 7 days' time, we could see the hotter air masses starting to return. Most ensemble members and most operational runs are showing some form of southerly flow in around 7 to 10 days' time, and even the GM operational run today is showing a proper hot spell, a heat wave during that middle third of July, with the 15-degree isotherm moving in and temperatures likely to be exceeding 30 degrees quite widely. But the big caveat and the big uncertainty in the models is not, well, will we pull in hotter air? It's will we pull in hot air under higher pressure, or will it be more under transient low pressure, which would be quite a thundery pattern, but wouldn't build as much heat? So we'll explore that in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you look on the live radar at the moment, we have got plenty of showers. Some of these showers further southwards are still lasting a little bit longer than anticipated. We're calling this around 11:30, and we still have a few of these showers breaking out. Again, mostly light, drizzly showers, but we were expecting them to have dissipated by this stage. Hopefully, though, as we head through the early afternoon, they should dissipate away, and we'll only see a few moderate to heavy showers remaining through parts of Scotland. You can see a bit of a weather front across northern Isles of Scotland. That is expected to shift southwards as well over the next 12 hours or so, so could be some persistent rain in the northeast. But elsewhere, it is going to be turning dry this afternoon. Some sunshine around, but generally cool with that westerly flow. If you look at the temperatures, nothing spectacular once again today. Temperatures may peak into sort of 21 to 23 degrees. Again, nothing amazing, but where we see sunshine, it will still feel fairly pleasant. If you go over to the UKV now and have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, you can see this afternoon those showers in the south do dissipate away, and we just see a few moderate to heavy showers remain further northwards. And then through this evening into the overnight hours, we could see some persistent rain through the northern Isles of Scotland, spreading more into northern and northeastern Scotland by tomorrow lunchtime, sort of persisting into the early afternoons. It could be quite a bit of rainfall there. It doesn't look too heavy, but could be some heavier bursts within that at times. Another day of sunshine and showers tomorrow, and again the showers generally central areas northwards. As we progress into Monday, that weather front eventually pulls away, and into Monday morning we can see an area of rain spread through the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, but once again moving through quite quickly, giving some heavier showers in places through Monday afternoon, but still plenty of drier regions. Into Tuesday, could see some heavy, maybe thundery showers breaking out in the far southeast and maybe through northern areas as well. But once again, there will be plenty of breaks in those showers and plenty of sunshine around where those don't occur. And then finally into Wednesday, again, sunshine showers, and again, all in from the west, so still will remain fairly cool, but when you see sunshine, it won't be too bad. If we finish by looking at the max temperatures from the UKV, you can see this afternoon peaking around that 20 to 22 degree range. Again, nothing spectacular, generally below average in some regions for July now. As we head into Sunday, again, temperatures could peak at 21 to 23 perhaps, but once again, that is just about reaching average in certain regions, most areas mid to high teens or touching 20 degrees, so generally slightly below average, with the average July high in London around 23 or 24, and sort of that slowly degrading away as you spread northwards to more of the high teens, around 20 degrees. So generally average to below average, and that's going to continue over the next 5 days. Into Monday, temperatures once again will be around that sort of low 20s point in the southeast, further northwards, low teens to maybe mid-teens in some spots with some more persistent rain, but where you see sunshine maybe into the high teens as well. So definitely some cool conditions around. Nothing, as I said, cold, but definitely cool compared to what we've had through a lot of June. And what you'd expect really during July as well. We've had some really hot spells the last few Julys. So yeah, very interesting seeing it start off quite a cool note. But as we'll see in the second half of the video, there is the possibility of something hotter returning. But Tuesday, you can see again 20 to 22 perhaps. Once again, showers and persistent rain will hold those temperatures down. And then finally into Wednesday, the 5th of July. Once again, temperatures around that 20 to maybe 22 or 23 degree range, but most regions high teens, low 20s. So again, average to below average over the next 5 days, nothing spectacular, plenty of showers, especially further northwards, but equally there'll still be a lot of pleasant sunshine out there, especially further south and eastwards for you to go out and enjoy. So yes, it's unsettled, but it's not as bad as it was looking maybe a few days ago. Definitely some breaks in the showers and cloud. But again, those warm temperatures are not there, and at times it will feel like we're back into springtime or into early autumn when things do start to cool down. But no, we're in the depths of summer here, and we are seeing quite cool conditions. But if we do look at the GFS, you can see the reason for that is the wind is coming in from Greenland, from a west to northwesterly wind, and low pressure dominating, keeping that shower activity. The wind's actually veered to a northerly come early next week, again just emphasising that cool feel. However, as we head towards Thursday, we did think there was a possibility of seeing some stormier weather perhaps, and there still was the risk of that for western regions, but most models now keep this low pressure more out in the Atlantic. And what it does is perhaps bring in some instability, showers, maybe some thunderstorms, but actually brings the air mass more in a southerly direction here, at least initially. And again, it doesn't look spectacular on the pressure charts here, but when we put on the upper air temperatures, you can see as that southerly wind drags in, it does drag in some very warm, if not hot air, maybe even the 50-degree isotherm getting in. GFS is one of the cooler runs here, but still has some of that hotter, warmer air. And you can see the general wind direction is more from a southwesterly, so even on these periods where we're in a cooler sector, it will probably be warmer than it is right now. So GFS, nothing spectacular, showing a bit of a southerly flow around next weekend. Maybe only lasting 24 hours, 48 hours or so, with lots of heavy showers and storms around. But some runs have this high pressure system out towards Central Europe, further northwards and westwards. And if that happens, then we could be sustained under this heat. And that's exactly what the GEM does. Once again, over the next few days, it's very similar to the GFS, northerly wind coming early next week. But as those lows gather in the Atlantic, they actually develop very strongly, but further westwards. So could impact the far west of the Republic of Ireland, some strong winds there, so maybe some heavy rain. But look, the high pressure's developed over the top of us up towards Scandinavia, and we're pulling up a really hot southerly flow in a week's time, and this lasts all the way to day 10. It would be a heat wave lasting many days. Again, we have to reach 3 days of hot temperatures above the heatwave threshold to be an official heatwave, and this looks very likely to do that. Come next Saturday, the 10-degree isotherm moves in. Temperatures would here be rising in the mid to high 20s. Into Sunday, perhaps into the low teens at 850 HPA, perhaps pushing the high 20s, maybe a touch above 30, towards 30. And then by Monday, the 10th of July, we're seeing the 15-degree isotherm move in, and that would firmly bring temperatures into the low 30s. That would be very warm, if not quite hot. And again, if we put on the 2-meter temperatures for the British Isles here, you can see generally high 20s touching on 30 degrees. And again, the GEM will always underdo those temperatures a little bit because it is low resolution at this scale. And, of course, this is the midday temperatures, not the 3 p.m. temperatures or the 2 to 4 p.m. temperatures around that period where it is hottest, likely to rise by a couple of degrees. And even at this point, if we look at the upper air temperatures, it hasn't quite peaked. You can see the hottest air is just about moving in. Give it a day or two of it being established. Maybe even the mid-30s is possible with this sort of pattern. But again, it just shows you very similar pattern to the GFS, but perhaps a whole different outcome just because of how strong that high pressure does build into Europe towards the UK. Now, if we look at the ECMWF, see if we have something similar, a westerly flow over the coming days, continuing to stay very unsettled, that southerly wind builds in, and we do see higher pressure. It's not as strong, but it's there, and it is dragging up a southerly wind, and right towards day 10, we're just about starting to get that hot air in. Because it takes longer to establish, it means the hot air is not drawn directly from the south, at least initially. It does drag in warm air. Temperatures would be into the mid-20s, maybe high 20s, but probably not reaching heatwave levels. But right towards day 10, we see some extremely hot air appearing over parts of Spain, heading northwards towards the UK. And again, look at the temperature deviation. You can see getting towards 12 degrees above average through northern Spain. Ridiculous temperatures. Here, the temperatures for the UK would be starting to reach the mid to high 20s. Again, these are the midday observations. But if you actually go to Spain, look at that. Mid to high 40s is looking likely here with this sort of pattern. So yes, ECMWF is similar to the GM, but not the same. It takes longer for it to get going, the higher pressure, but when it does get going, it drags up some ridiculous air masses with temperatures exceeding 45 degrees in parts of southern Spain and even mid to high 30s through northern Spain, and that's the air that is heading our way. And once again, these are midday temperatures likely to rise by a couple of degrees come 3 p.m. Actually, we're able to have a look at the 6 p.m. temperatures here. Yeah, we are, and you can see once again even 40 degrees being reached in northern Spain. Ridiculous temperatures. And again, that would be extremely hot, and that would be heading our way. You can see that actually looking at the streamlines. You can see the wind is heading up from a southerly to northerly direction, heading up from southern Spain up towards northwest Europe. So you can see how that air mass is slowly heading our way. These are the Aim-Drift HPA temperature streamlines, basically showing where the wind direction is at that pressure level. So that hot air at that pressure level is heading our way. Again, it's at day 10, but things can still change. But ECMWF, not quite as hot, at least the next sort of 7 to 10 days, but come day 10 and beyond, it would be going really hot into the middle third of July. Now, after you finish by looking at the ensembles, we start on the GFS. You can see it is cool, if not quite cold, in places over the next 5 days. But around the 7th, 8th of July, come next weekend, temperatures start to rise above average. And look at that, most of the ensemble members do get a good few degrees above average, start to bring in some warm and humid air. However, this is where we get the split. The GFS goes cooler again, bringing low pressure back in, but quite a few other runs keep that warmth and heat for a longer period of time. And the number of those runs is just increasing over the past couple of days. So definitely is a bit of a trend towards warmer. In the longer term, definitely still showing a generally average, maybe even below average, right towards the sort of the 15th to the 17th of July, but nothing too spectacular at this stage. All eyes need to be on this bump in the ensembles and see what happens with that. Precipitation is still relatively high, definitely some precipitation spikes gathering around the 4th or 5th of July, so we're going to have to look at that in a bit more detail for some heavier rain moving in, but plenty of showers in the longer range. If we did see this hotter spell, majority of ensemble members do keep low pressure nearby and do keep showers. Again, another way to look at the hot air is looking at the dew points. Definitely a bit of a rise there, but nothing too spectacular at this stage. So definitely still a lot of uncertainty with those ensemble members, and the 2 meter temperatures are definitely rising in that period into the mid to high 20s. And finally, just look at the ECMWF to compare. Once again, very similar, cool over the next 5 to 7 days, a big bump around next weekend, and then some ensemble members like the ECMWF operational and the control run, keeping that hot air here for a good 5+ days before cooling off. Plenty of runs like that. Others going slightly cooler as well. So some big uncertainty developing here. And as I said, we'll just have to see what happens with this. But definitely a bit of a trend towards perhaps some hotter air moving in during the middle third of July. What that does entail, we'll just have to see what actually does develop at the surface. It's still a big unknown. But if we did see something like that GEM run, definitely could be a heat wave on the cards if that pattern came off. But equally, on the other end of the spectrum, the GFS produces a couple of days of heat, some big thunderstorms before sweeping the westerlies back in. So as I said, we'll have to see what happens. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you don't enjoy hot, humid air, make sure you enjoy the next 5 to 7 days, because I can't guarantee that we'll see, or when we'll next see cooler air, if we do see this hotter spell during the middle third. So do enjoy the next sort of 5 to 7 days. A lot fresher conditions out there, fairly decent. So as I said, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.